Hello and welcome back to HardReset.Info. In this video I'm going to show you all motions and gestures on Realme 14 Pro Plus. Let's begin! Starting with the very first gesture, and it is to double tap the screen or double tap it once again in order to turn it on or off. Now you may not have this enabled, as I believe by default it is disabled actually. So let's head to the settings. In settings, you want to scroll all the way down and go to accessibility and convenience. And here, if we scroll down a little, we'll see gestures and motions, and we'll be in this section for a longer while now. As you can see, oh actually it is not here, because I believe to enable the power button, is it in touch adaptation? No, I believe it's in the home screen and lock screen actually. The settings can be pretty, they are not sadly in one place. However, you have the option to double tap to turn on off screen right here, and if you have it disabled, then this is why your double tapping doesn't work. Anyway, let's go back to our accessibility and convenience and gestures and motions, because the list is pretty long. So let's going from the top to the bottom. We have a screen of gestures. We will get to that later. For now, we have abilities to take a screenshot with basically swipe down with 3 fingers, so something like that. I know I just did that. You don't have to tell me that. Anyway, swipe down with 3 fingers to take a screenshot, or touch and basically hold 3 fingers in order to actually select basically a very specific region, which is pretty funny because you can choose to do random shapes, but I don't want to save that. And lastly, turn on off flashlight with volume button. So let's simply click that, but we have to first disable our menu, and let's click the volume down button. Or let's press and hold. Yep, you have to press and hold, and as you can see, our flashlight is now enabled, which is pretty handy when you just need to open flashlight and you don't want to play around with expanding this panel, searching for flashlight, etc. But I will keep that disabled, since someone might by accident enable the flashlight and leave it, and the battery will die pretty quickly. Now onto the motions. We have raise to wake. Basically what it does is to automatically turn on the screen whenever I raise my phone. So I will do this, and as you can see, it is turned on, meaning I can just swipe up. I can just swipe up and then unlock the phone using my passcode here. Then we have lift to ear to answer calls. Now it is very handy. I don't believe you can actually do that by accident. Though if you don't want to, then you can just keep it disabled. I can't really showcase you that, but I've tested before that it does indeed work. Then there is auto switch to receiver. It's very similar to the lift to ear to answer calls, except it's actually it only works with the Bluetooth devices, as it will basically switch the audio to the receiver. And lastly, we have flip to mute incoming calls. We can also simply enable that. Though, as I showcased you before, as I said you before, I can't really showcase it, since, I have no friends to, call me, etc. Anyway, let's disable those options real quick. And let's go back to the gestures, as we missed one section called screen of gestures. And remember when I said that this list is pretty long? Because it is very long. And firstly, you can disable or enable the screen of gestures. Obviously, I will keep that enabled for the purpose of this video. And here, here, we can see the option to double tap to turn on or off the screen. So you don't even have to go to the home screen section in the settings, you can just do it here. And now we have very funny options. As you can see, we can, for example, we can just draw certain shapes in order to activate certain applications. So for example, if I would turn off the screen now, which almost works, and watch and do a little circle, as you can see now, it automatically opened camera. And obviously there are more, because the list is pretty big. For example, we can draw a flashlight, draw a V in order to turn on the flashlight. So let's quickly test that. We have our phone here, and let's draw a V. And let's draw it again, which is really, really handy. As you know, basically whenever you need a flashlight, you can just take your phone, press the volume down button, press and hold, or write a V. I believe it's just so convenient. And then there is a very similar option for music control, except it's a little bit more complicated. I don't have any music playing right now, but basically drawing, I mean, you can just read for yourself. But as you can see, drawing 2 fingers down will basically pause or unpause your track, and doing little arrows here will go back or go further into your playlist. And now we have the more with another V, except it's now flipped horizontally, and draw M and draw W. So let's quickly test those, shall we? First we have a shortcut for yep, we do have to unlock so you do the V, actually you do the arrow up, I believe, and then you have to unlock your phone anyway, but it will take you to a calculator in an instant, which could be really handy on like a certain math tests, but you know, you don't have this idea from me. Going back, we also have a shortcut for Google Assistant, but we still have to unlock our phone, and this one is actually Gemini. Of course, we can continue, enable it, blah blah blah. Like no one really cares. And lastly, we can do a W in order to enable the recorder app, which also can be really handy if you, for some reason, like are in the middle of drama and want to record it for a later usage. Sure. And if you think that the list is done, it is not over, my friends, because there is still more. If we go back to accessibility and convenience, we can see that we have pretty big amount of list here. And sure, we were only covering the gestures and motions. However, the gestures are still hidden in other functions. For example, we have gestures for enabling split view and floating view. As you can see here, we can swipe up to open a floating window, and we can basically open floating window from smart sidebar. Then you can swipe down to open once again. We can share files, and we can switch to the open view, and we have a nice little tutorial here that basically tells you everything you need. And it is really simple. Let's open some applications, for example the internet. And now let's simply hold, go from like middle to the top right corner, and as you can see here, oh, okay, it is barely visible. Hold on. Here at the top we see split view and floating window. Obviously if we go here, then we are now in the split view, so we can open like the Photos application, and now we have 2 applications at the same time. Or we can go back here now. Oh, let's actually get rid of that. Or we can once again hold our finger here and go to the top right corner in order to open a floating window. And we can obviously resize it, we can move it around by pressing those 3 dots here, and we can easily just made it full screen. And the same thing would be for the split window. And if you think that we are done, we are not done, because there is one more thing, one more actually option I want to showcase you, and that is smart sensing, which is really cool. And honestly, I'm just surprised they've added this. So first of all, we have this double tap to scan, which is once again really convenient and really handy. And probably when I would get used to it, I wouldn't really, not use it, as all it does is basically, after you enable it and agree to basically anything, we can disable the always ask. And all it really does is basically, if you double tap the screen, it should take you to the sensor. It might be because I have the case enabled. I have the phone case, so it might take a lot more force. I'm not going to remove the case now, since the case is really nice. But once again, it's just the definition of convenient. And the other option, which I find really interesting, are air gestures. And honestly, they are pretty wild. I'm going to zoom out the camera a little so you can see it better. But what this basically does is you can click the air control, and in here we can learn the gestures. And basically it is exactly what you think it is. You can control certain things on your phone with your hands. So if someone is calling you, you can hold the back of your hands up to the screen with fingers pointed down. So let's just do this. And now we want to do like this little move here in order to actually accept the call. And the reverse move, and we can just hold the finger, the palm like this, to mute the call. We can also just enable those to actually use them in practice. And if we go back and go to air scroll, we have another air gesture. As you can see here, we simply can click learn gestures, and that basically allows us to swipe, for example, TikTok or YouTube or whatever, using our hands without, touching our screen. So we want to hold our palm like this, and now we can do this move in order to move like down. And if we do this, however, you have to and then you can do the reverse move in order to actually move up. And once again, you can see the list of supported apps right here. I believe if I would, and the TikTok is right here. So let me zoom back. So if I would have TikTok installed, I could easily test it out on TikTok, though I am not a big fan of doom scrolling, so I do not have TikTok installed. And I believe that now that is the end of this video. As you can see, the list is pretty big, and I believe that there are more gestures that I haven't even discovered yet. So yeah, that's all for this video. If you found it helpful, please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.